Hello, welcome back to another episode of Sustainability in the Sea, produced and hosted by Future Swell. My name is Carissa. We are sitting down with Shannon Sawtell today of Unlitter, which is an organization based originally out of Florida, but is actually completely spread across the world now. And they focus on unlittering places that you love, the playgrounds that you play at, and also unlittering your mind through community events. And they just have a wealth of knowledge for mostly young people and young students to help get involved in solving plastic pollution and sustainable living. We talk a lot about internships and opportunities. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, definitely continue listening. It is Plastic Free July, and that means that we are going to be focusing a lot on sustainable solutions. So in addition to connecting you with the Unlitter group, check out our social media where we'll be having lots of opportunities to amplify plastic topics and issues. I do want to say before we get into the episode that the Global Plastics Treaty, which is a treaty where 175 countries have come together to try to end plastic pollution, those negotiations happened in June, and they will be taking up further negotiations in November. And so if you have an extra 5 minutes to contact the leader in your country area. If you're based in the US, this would be the executive branch. So reaching out to the White House, leaving them voicemails, emails to sign on to the Global Plastics Treaty and make it effective. That is like a huge upstream systemic solution that you can participate in for Plastic Free July. I'm going to link the petitions and the automated messaging systems by Break Free from Plastic and World Wildlife Fund in the show notes. Let's end plastic pollution. I'm so done with cleaning up beaches and with breeding research about plastic particles in our bloodstreams and offloading it onto our young when we're pregnant. I'm literally done. We have to end this. And also just stay stoked on all of the solutions, because in addition to plugging into community and cleaning up your places, like we're going to talk about with Shannon, there's also so many policy changes that you can plug into as well. So thanks for being here. Welcome back to Sustainability and the Sea. Shannon, welcome to Sustainability in the Sea.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Great to see you again.
Yeah, you too. I am so excited to get into the topic of plastic pollution with you and everything that you're working on in the East Coast, because it speaks to, so many people care about the ocean, and the first topic that they get to is plastic. Before we get into all of that work, I would love to hear a little bit about you and your story, where you're from, and maybe what connected you to the ocean originally.
Yeah, definitely. So I just graduated from the University of Florida. I got a bachelor's in marketing and sustainability. So I really wanted to make sure that sustainability was something that I would be able to pursue in my career and spend the rest of my life doing. And so I was first exposed to the ocean just by eating pizza by the beach with my dad growing up in elementary school. We got on the boat as much as possible, and being from Jupiter, Florida, which is near West Palm on the East Coast, it was very easy to have sustainability and the ocean as a part of my everyday. I remember seeing people litter with my own eyes on the beach at 5, 6, 7 years old, and just looking at my dad like, what are they doing? Are they crazy? And so with Jupiter being such a prominent area for loggerhead nesting and other turtle nesting, it was really cool to have that included as part of like the curriculum in elementary school and going to field trips there. And super cool that we have that Marine Life Center and hospital here in our hometown. So that connected to me to the ocean. And then from there, as I started getting older and learning more about consumer choices and learning about businesses that are attempting to be quote unquote sustainable, I really got sparked and realized that I could pursue it as a career. And so I'm really, really excited to, have graduated and be ready for that next step.
Yeah, congratulations on graduating. Yeah. I always think about how Florida, like any beach you go to in Florida, like there's always educational signage, like either about sea turtles or about whatever habitat is around. And I just feel like growing up there, it's not missing anywhere. And I think every coastal community should have that type of public education approach at the beaches. It could make such a difference.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even as people have gotten more aware over time, I was just at the beach last week and it was pretty cool. They had buckets and trash grabbers free for anybody's use, just for return. So it was cool to see things like that have now been integrated into the quote unquote everyday of people's lives here.
Mhm.
And just going to beach cleanups through middle school to get those volunteer hours for NJHS, and all of those things. It was very, very cool to grow up and be in such a part of a community that cared, but also in a part of a community to see the people who didn't care enough to empower me to end up where I am now.
Yeah. And you can start young, like NJHS. I was also part of that. And like such an opportunity to learn about service. And then you can make it your own. You can be like, oh, well, I'm passionate about the ocean or plastic. And so that's how I'm going to apply my community service hours. And so for folks listening, we have a lot of young people who listen in high school and in college. And they're always like, what do I do? And it's like, you can start now.
Yeah, definitely. And, I tell people from any age, whether you're 5 years old or 15 years old, you can do something, even if
Mhm.
it's inspiring your parents to recycle. That doesn't really make a big impact in your own eyes. But when you see how much trash is sitting on the side of the curb at your house, in your cul de sac, on your street, and then multiply that by how many houses are in your town, then across the entire country, across the continent, across the globe, it really starts to make an impact and realize how much trash is out there and such the opportunity that exists for turning that trash into repurposed goods. Whether it's making sure your parents donate your clothes or pass them on to your younger siblings or your friends, versus ending them up in a landfill, everything makes a difference.
Yeah, it all adds up and you have to like celebrate those wins too. So
Definitely.
okay, I can't wait to ask you about Unlitter. I know that so this organization, I found you all through social media, classic connection across the coasts. And I loved the way that you all were portraying the topic and inviting everybody to be part of it. So could you tell me a little bit about the organization and how you got involved and how it started and maybe it's past to where you are now?
Yeah, definitely. So I first found the Unlitter movement in probably the most organic way possible. So I was driving by the beach. Actually, I wasn't even driving yet. I was 15. And so I was going by the beach as in the passenger seat. And I saw a sticker on a surfboard rack. And it was just enough to catch my eye for me to follow them on Instagram. And at this time, it was like the first year I had an Instagram. Like it was a really big deal for me to be on social media. My
Yeah.
parents grew up forcing me to stay away from things like that, which at the time was like the worst thing in the world. And I started to realize as I got older that they were just giving me
Yeah.
social skills and that sort of a thing. But followed them on Instagram. I saw some random post and I commented. And so I started following, weeks on an end. And then one day, I wish I could remember what enticed me to do so, but I sent them a direct message and I was like, hey, like, is this something that I can bring to my high school? There's such a need for it. And I think, just the idea of Unlitter, which at the time to me, just seeing it off a sticker was to pick up trash.
Yeah.
But as I got more involved with the movement and to see where it is today, it was really cool. And it gave me so many skills that I've not even acquainted to the movement until recently. And so, if you haven't heard of our movement, we're a nonprofit here in the United States, but we do spread globally. So, if you're in Israel, Switzerland, we have a little place for you. And so, the organization kind of started with some friends picking up trash. And so, they were skating to and from class at the University of Florida. And so, they'd pick up trash, and somebody said the word one day, and it stuck. And from there, it spread through their study abroad programs, through people that they knew, and they realized how impactful the word itself can be. So just to get into another aspect of the movement beyond just picking up trash, which of course is very valid and important, but unlitter your mind. So that's one thing that really stuck with me throughout my studies. I get very stressed out. I thought everything was going to be the end of the world, including getting into college or not. And so it allowed me to really take a step back, detox again with that social aspect, but also to incorporate things like yoga, stretching, getting outside and looking at the clouds into my everyday life, which was something that was so needed at that point in my life. And yeah, it's really brought me to who I am today.
Yeah, you can't really show up for all the causes that you care about if you're not like at 90, 100%. And so when you have these like day-to-day stressors, it can take you away from being able to fulfill your purpose and passion, whether that be like protecting the beaches or whatever it is. And so I love that it can be applicable to different areas of life that ultimately connect us back to what we want to like leave a better footprint for.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just important to get kids, people in general outside. I'm surprised in how many people I meet in college who are like, oh, like when's the last time you've just looked at the trees and watched the wind catch the leaves and that sort of a thing.
Yeah,
And they take a step back and they're like, oh, it's been a while.
it's been
So
a
it
while.
encourages them to just, look at the flowers, see the bee buzz by, study outside, and really just reconnect into what's most important, and that's nature.
Yeah. And also that's really motivating to us on our end at Future Swell to be like, maybe we should do stickers because that's what originally connected you to them in the community, which then ultimately has now created a pathway to your career.
Yeah, definitely. And I think
Yeah.
stickers are something that is very much debated in the environmental community.
Mhm.
And as long as they're done with intention, we're not sending out hundreds of stickers to one person that sends us his DM on Instagram.
Yeah.
It took me like 4 years to get more than like one or two stickers sent to me. I'm like, please send me more. My friends want them. And they're like, have your friends reach out to us
Yeah.
because they're given out with intention. If you come to our events, if you come to our cleanup events, our yoga events, whatever it may be, we'll give you one in that sense, but we're not necessarily just trying to sticker bomb the world
Yeah.
and spread them everywhere.
And also like because of public demand and so much broad support for sustainable practices, there's now alternatives as well. So like we were
Exactly.
looking into like wood pulp stickers and things like that.
Yeah.
So all right, so I know you guys are a community platform. I know you have events that bring people together in nature to unlitter the places they love and to unlitter their mind and things like that. But what are some goals that you have? And also, wait, what's your specific position there?
So I am currently our operations director,
Okay.
which basically means I wear many hats. So I direct our marketing, our intern program, and just communications in general.
Great. So for those the goals, what you talk about like dreaming big for the organization, like what do you see yourself like moving into as far as like different spaces in the sustainability? I know we'll also have a chance to talk a little later about internship opportunities, but yeah, what do you think where do you think you all want to take this?
Yeah, definitely. So forever, we've just been a community of individuals just looking to inspire and empower people to live both a sustainable and positive lifestyle.
Mhm.
And so in the past, we've done a lot of in-person events. We've done a lot of larger scale events. We just hosted a thrift gala. So it was a sustainable fashion event. Everybody had to come in thrifted clothes. We had a thrifted fashion show and a bunch of really nice local vendors and artists. And so for those type of events, like it's really cool to see how people just run with the idea. And so as a movement, we are really looking to just inspire new communities around the United States specifically. It's super easy to have a narrow-minded mindset, but we definitely want to just continue to stay simple, stay powerful, and of course, positive.
Yeah.
So whether that looks like individuals participating in some of our education events with elementary school students, or even just expanding the movement as far as hosting an event in your city, and realizing that even if you've never done yoga in your entire life, even if picking up trash is not your thing, when you pick up one piece of trash on your way to school or work, think about all the people around you who see that person pick up a piece of trash and then get inspired like, ooh, wow. If everyone picked up one piece of trash every day, it wouldn't take people cleaning up the ocean. It wouldn't take thousands and thousands of individuals to be working tens of thousands of hours every year to pick up trash. It simply is to get rid of the issue of litter, but also to inspire this next generation that that level of positivity is needed for anybody that wants to make change, whether it's environmental change, social change, or any sort of change in their own lives. It takes that positive mindset. It
Mhm.
takes that community of network to string everybody together to get the most important people and the smartest people on the process, so that we can hopefully combat some of these issues that now lie upon us within environmentalism.
Yeah. I also think that once say you're like, I'm uncomfortable going to like my first volunteer opportunity, but then you go to a few more, you make friends, there's some familiar faces, and then it suddenly becomes ingrained into your social routine or things that you want to do. And then you bring your friends, and like, it's really about going to be around like-minded individuals. Cause I always say, like, that is what is medicine, really. Like, that's what keeps you motivated. You might feel really down about news that you're hearing or something that happened in your area related to the environment or something else, but it's the people that you do it with that help bring you back up and like fill your cup up, you know?
Definitely. And I
Yeah.
always say I want to be friends with people who want to pick up trash on a Saturday. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many things that people can spend their time doing nowadays. But if I see somebody, example in the University of Florida, a lot of students take pictures with glitter, like a plastic glitter. They blow it at the camera, and it makes this
Yeah.
really beautiful picture. But it also leaves plastic glitter everywhere. And so 5 years ago, somebody within the Unlitter community, they were like, ooh, we could make biodegradable glitter. And so now we sell it as Unglitter, and we market it to sororities, to larger groups on campus, so that we can just inspire and empower those individuals to realize, oh, wow, that graduation glitter that I blew 5 years ago, it landed in a sewer, and now it's in this wonderful prairie that we have just outside of campus. And for me to see the glitter, the bad glitter in the prairie, it was so heartfelt, because I'm like, I know where this came from. This was definitely a college student taking a grad photo. And so I think that when you're inspired and when you're around a community of people who are caring, it's easy to see that there is tangible change available. It's
Yeah.
easy when you're not with anyone that's like-minded and your friends are using plastic water bottles maybe and that sort of a thing, to think like, we are doomed, it is over. But I encourage you to know that it is not over. It's not the end of the world, but every person that you inspire to get their reusable water bottle, every person that decides that they're going to recycle, and every person that decides just one piece of trash a week, a month, whatever it takes, is going to inspire and empower enough people for this next generation to grow into the change that we need to see.
Yeah.
So that all of us can relax and not have to work anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And we can
But
put
no,
ourselves out of business.
exactly. And so that would be the ultimate goal. The goal isn't to be Unlitter everywhere across the globe. The goal is to no longer have that issue. And
Yeah.
so that we can focus on empowering that unlitter your mind aspect, because it's easy to get stressed. Whether you're stressed about being able to find a job, you're stressed about a certain class you're taking, high school especially, middle school especially, those days are very, very stressful. And a lot of people underestimate it because they're focused on their jobs. And maybe you're hearing things from your parents like, just wait until you get into the real world, like I did, that sort of a thing. But really just realize that you can make a difference on your individual day just by waking up. And maybe it's not with the biggest smile on your face, but just waking up with that mindset to say that I'm going to do something good for myself today. I'm going to do something good for the planet today, or maybe even just the people around you.
Mm-hmm. How does media play a role into the Unlitter mission and what you folks are trying to accomplish with the organization?
Yeah, so the media has been honestly the most inspiring part to me. My everyday, it feels like I talk to the same 20 people, but it seems like, or excuse me, it doesn't seem like, it's cool that so many people are inspired and they'll send us photos of the sticker on their water bottle with this beautiful background in it. And so if I'm on a trip, I was just in Canada, I put a sticker on a mailbox that had already been stickered. Of course, I wasn't littering the sticker, don't worry. But so I put a sticker on this mailbox, and 3 weeks later, somebody did an Instagram feed post of the sticker, and you can look it up just by looking up the hashtag Unlitter on Instagram. You can search by the tag, and that person posted a picture of the mailbox, the one that I put a sticker on. And so I think for media, for people to be able to share things so instantly, and to share what they care about, and tagging us in their stories. And maybe it was just one water bottle they picked up on their way to soccer practice. And it's really cool because within that one photo, it's so impactful to everyone in your following and everyone in your network and your circle. So seeing all the photos from all around the globe at this point has really just been amazing. And somebody sent me one from Switzerland today, which was really beyond cool and still is just unbelievable to me.
I think it also is such a way to connect movements across literally oceans. You're like, wow, the Unlitter Unlitter ambassadors are in Switzerland today, but they're also in these other areas, and everyone can see that through media, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
um, so I know you mentioned a little bit of events that you focused on, like the thrift gala is such an exciting way to help people, you know, rethink how they purchase clothes and say no to fast fashion and things like that. What other events have you hosted in the past, or do you want to host in the future that you think can help amplify community building around Unlitter?
Yeah, so a lot of the events are really simple and basic. You know, grab 10 friends, let's go pick up trash. Maybe you take a photo, maybe it just happens and it's a memory you save forever. But the majority of the larger scale events we have, those look like outdoor yoga events, unlitter cleanups,
Mm-hmm.
of course. We've done a lot with thrift swaps as well. So an unlitter swap is simply just bringing you, your 10 friends, and maybe you're all your friends, bring one friend. Or if it's not your friends, it's a club you're in high school, and bring one t-shirt, 5 t-shirts, whatever it is, and just trade. Because the most sustainable thing you have, the most sustainable thing you can buy is the item you already have. And if it's not something that's getting use in your closet, unlitter your closet, unlitter your space, give your pens and old pencils to a teacher that may be in need. You know, there's so many ways that you can repurpose those things that don't get used in your life, and unlitter them, because with a clean space, you have a clean mind and a clean mindset. And so that's something that I've really taken in my life. My family has a lot of stuff. And so when my mom is looking to clean things out and that sort of a thing, I really inspire her to find another house for those items before you donate them. And the thrift swaps have been a really cool way that we've been able to inspire so many people. At the University of Florida, we have 50 people lay out their beach towels, and everybody is just putting out clothes and just for free, just trading, a shirt here and there. Of course, with events like sorority events and themed events, it's really easy to like accumulate a lot of quote unquote things. And if you're not being as intentional as possible with the thrifting the items, using them from a friend, it can really add up. So it was kind of interesting to see what everyone had when they're actually laying the clothing out.
Yeah,
Before,
you can get so many solutions from your community. Like I'm thinking that with also like later in life too, like bachelorette parties or like
yeah,
baby showers. And it's like, oh, these are one single use item. Why can't you just go to your other friend or who have maybe has gone through this before, like enter networks like buy nothing groups where you can kind of hand them
right.
on to have a second life.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the power of the internet.
Yeah.
Never hurts to put a feeler out there if you're looking for something. I wore my high school graduation dress to my college graduation. You don't need new things. And so that's what we're always trying to promote. If it's at a bring your own potluck event, for those who may be older, a bring your own cup party is a lot of fun, or anything but a cup. It's really cool to see what people have in their houses. And so people get really creative.
Yeah. You can make it fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I also love that you all focus so much on the mindset behind it because that really is what drives everything, depending on how your mindset or how you view things. Like we can't as a single individual take on the entire system, but if we
Right.
shift our mindset about waste and use of items and clothes and parties and all these things, that's really what ultimately teaches other people because they see you lead by example.
Yeah, definitely. And I
Yeah.
think that's how I've been most inspired.
Yeah.
Whether you're 5, 15, or 20, you are definitely going to experience burnout at some points in your life. So it's definitely important to learn that these skills are tangible and there's something that you can gain. And that positive mindset, waking up every day, is something that helps so much. And to be inspired by those around you and see that tangible change.
Yeah.
My aunt now recycles. There's small wins, and those small wins should be cherished.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always want to ask this because I know that for those of us who like work on the front lines of solutions, have you all explored like your role in maybe advocacy or policy or other types of upstream solutions to help like preventing litter from getting into the environment from the first step at all? Or is that something that you're like, we're going to focus on our niche and then just cheer on the organizations that focus in those areas?
Yeah, definitely. So this is something within our community that kind of goes around and around, of course. We have so many amazing advocates that are advocating for political change at higher levels. And so within the organization, we really just try to drive this positive mindset. And what we found, unfortunately, is even with things that would not be debated by most, there's still an opportunity for that debate. So we definitely try to only focus on the positives of two sides of any story. So, with issues like the reopening of the Clean Water Act and that sort of a thing that happened a few weeks ago, we definitely highlight it so we can empower people to make a difference and contact their delegates and that sort of a thing. But it's not necessarily the epicenter of the movement and what we
Mhm.
try to do. Again, just keeping things positive and keeping things very almost, I don't want to say surface level because that may have a negative connotation, but keeping things surface level and individualistic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and inviting people to take one step instead of feeling like they need to necessarily do it all. It's
Yeah,
kind of more like we call them conservation entry points, but it's like bringing people in who maybe otherwise would have never been in. And then once you're in for a while and once you're
right.
looking for more, there's still other levels to dive deeper
Of
into.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're focusing on large scale events like that, it's very difficult for people to feel that they can make a tangible difference. And so we really just try to empower the individual to make change within their own lives, within their own everyday, because that's where we need the societal change in order to see those larger scale events heard at a greater level.
Yeah. And then we always get most of our audience identifies as women and they're under 25 and they're looking to make this a career. I think me and you both were probably told when we were growing up, like, this can't necessarily be a career. What types of opportunities do you all offer at Unlitter? And what do you think would be a good fit of those opportunities?
Yeah, definitely. So looking back upon, I'm 22 now, so the last 7 years of my life, there wasn't an organization in my area that I could either volunteer at or do anything to make a real tangible change. And so no matter what I did, I was just chipping away at the same old block. And when I found Unlitter, I brought it to my high school. And so there was an environmental club in the past. They were not super active. They didn't focus on necessarily the same things that I believed in. So I think that the most valuable opportunity for anybody of any age is just to bring Unlitter to your community. And it doesn't have to be hosting events every month and doing all of these crazy things. But if you somehow get into our network just by sending us a DM on Instagram like I did, you'll close your eyes and blink, and then you'll be old, quote unquote. No, I'm just kidding. But I think the opportunities are so vague for so many different age groups. And so as you guys grow into high school and that sort of a thing, there's more opportunities like our internship program. So usually runs from August to December, and then January to May, and then we have one for summer, of course,
Nice.
from May to August. And those opportunities range. Right now, we have a marketing team for interns as well as a education outreach team for interns. So the next project that we're really excited about, we're developing an education program so that individuals, whether they're in high school, college, or so on, or just young adults, so they can bring education of sustainability and environmentalism to their elementary school or to the preschool in their community, or whatever that may look like. And so I think, whether you're 15 inspiring the next generation or 10 years old inspiring your younger siblings, you do have power to impact people at a level that you can only imagine. So, whether it's one Earth Day event that you want to host at an elementary school with a teacher that you loved, or join a longer term position with us with the internship program or beyond, there's so many opportunities. Literally just send us a direct message at Unlitter on Instagram. That's how it starts for most of us. And of course, we have a contact form on the website and all that fancy stuff. But it just starts with a conversation, and maybe you'll meet with me or another member of our team, and we'll see kind of what works for you and what your system and your schedule looks like. Of course, it's hard if you're playing 100 sports and doing that, and in high school and et cetera, et cetera. But there is time to make an impact in your community, and there's not many organizations that can be super flexible to be the backbone of the change that your community needs to see. And so if you're in California, maybe you're not fighting the plastic war, hopefully. But if you're in Georgia or something like that, there's opportunities everywhere. And we would just love to bring you into our network and connect you with somebody that you may be interested in, and that sort of a thing.
Yeah, I love that all of the internship opportunities focus on skills that are super transferable too, like marketing. You can apply that to any environmental job. Like I always say, like so many nonprofits need good marketing, and it's such a missing piece right now in being able to scale their mission. And then education and outreach, almost every nonprofit has that program as well. And being able to learn or get practice on how to talk to kids, how to talk to different audiences is such a key skill that can help you get a job later on, and starting that early as a student is great. So thanks for sharing more about that. And then what, I guess, one or two pieces of advice would you have for a student who's really like already cares, is passionate, and wants to make this a career, but wants to start now and is just excited?
So I would say get as much experience under your belt as possible. Whether you're organizing a cleanup event with your friends, with some biodegradable gloves, using a old bag of soil from your backyard to hold the trash in, whatever it looks like, do one good thing for yourself or for your career every week, every month, whatever you can commit to. And so if you're looking for a career in something specific, maybe you want to be a marine biologist. Don't be afraid to find a marine biologist in your area. If you send us a direct message on Instagram Unlitter, I will find one for you, and I'll find one for you to talk to. But do one good thing for yourself every semester, every month, whatever that looks like. And I think that with all of the experiences that you have, whether it's meeting random people at cleanups or just doing something at your high school, there's so many different ways that will tie into your life later that you won't even realize now. And so I never thought at 12 years old that I would be telling stories about a beach cleanup that I was at 10 years later. But here I am, and I think it will be a part of my story forever. So volunteer at the animal hospital nearby, volunteer wherever will accept you, whether it's something that you want to do for a job or maybe just something that you want to learn more about. Use the internet. The internet is the most amazing tool that you have access to. Everything you could possibly want to know ever is somewhere on the internet. So although there may be things that are negative on the internet, stay away from those. Listen to podcasts. If you're listening to this, you're already taking one amazing step for your future. And so follow Future Swell, do the things. And if you're in the middle of nowhere in the United States, there's still so many things that you can contribute and help with. I think you'd be surprised with how many organizations have virtual opportunities as well.
Yeah, I love that you all are so accessible, right? Okay, and we end every single episode with the same question, and it's a bit of a hard one to answer, we found. It's that if you could like design a billboard that said a message that was going to reach all of the like most powerful people in the world who make the decisions that impact future generations in our environment, what would you want that to say?
I would want it to say, what do you want your legacy to be? With a period in big, bold letters. If there's one thing that everybody will have, no matter what it is, whether it's good or maybe sometimes bad, there will be a legacy. People will remember you, your family will remember you, the people that you met in school, everybody will remember you. Do you want to be remembered as somebody negative? Or, in my case, maybe I'll be remembered as the friend that always yelled at everybody for using plastic or littering. But what do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered as the random girl that was picking up trash on the side of the road that they drove by? Do you want to be remembered as the individual who at 12 years old started a whole organization and did all this and was reaching out to their elementary school? All of my teachers, K through 12, they all know me. They all remember me because I'm still emailing them. So I think what I would say is, what do you want your legacy to be? Because
Unlitter your legacy.
Unlitter your legacy. I'm writing that down.
The new sticker.
Yeah, right. And so everybody will move on at some point. And I think that it's important to just remember in your everyday to be remembered as a good friend, to be remembered as a person that's there for somebody, to be remembered as an individual who genuinely cared about the work they're doing. And so whether your job is exactly what you want, or maybe you're a young adult listening to this and you want to pivot careers, there's still so many years and so many lives to live left in your wonderful life. And so I encourage you, and no matter what you do, to just leave a positive legacy on the world and leave a sustainable legacy on the world.
Mhm. Oh, that's amazing, Shannon. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, of course. I'm so grateful. And if you have made it all the way to the end, definitely make sure that you follow Future Swell and Unlitter on Instagram.
Yeah, and check
We
out
would
those
love-
internships because
yes.
they're year round, which is beautiful. Incredible opportunities here for the change makers listening.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something light, it's not a 40-hour-a-week job. Most of our internships are from 2 to 5 hours, some 10. So there's an opportunity for everyone. Definitely send us a message. And just remember to do one good thing for yourself, whether it's every day or every week. Take time for yourself. Take that minute to look at the sky. Don't check your email first thing in the morning, which I struggle with too. Do what you have to do, and just know that you can make an impact in your community, and you will. And you are amazing and wonderful, and we are so grateful for each and every one of you.